vulture is kept there, if this vulture is kept there in the 1 meter cage, will the vulture be happy or unhappy? Unhappy. To what extent? And you keep it for the whole 10 years like this. Huh?
It will be very unhappy.
Very unhappy. Okay. So to one extent, so make no, it doesn't matter. Make it a gold cage, golden cage. It's even more beautiful. No, it doesn't matter. They need space. Okay, if you don't understand, it's very easy. I'll give you a free house. And that free house is, okay, 2 meters by 2 meters space for you. Right? No windows, just a door. 2 meters by 2 meters. Okay, are we happy? Not happy?
Not happy.
Why not?
Too small.
Too small. It makes you suffocated, right? If you don't know what it is like, what's the feeling like? Just this year, yes, this year, in the May, June, I was in Vietnam, right? So where did I go? War Museum. I went there, and like this place, 3 feet by 6 feet, and what is that? The what is that? The bar? What is that?
Prison bars.
Huh?
Prison bars.
Prison bars, yes. Not this. With the
Barbed wire.
bar wire.
Barbed wires.
What is bar wire? Bar wire?
It has got spikes.
Exactly. Bar wire with spikes, right? So this 3 feet by 3 feet, and height maybe like, I think 2 feet, right? This is just solidly made of the barbed wire. What is called?
Barbed wire. Barbed wire.
Barbed wire, right? Is made like this. So the prisoners are kept in this space, right? Just imagine if this is how you spend. You have to keep lying down. The moment you stand up, right? They'll prick you, right? So this is how this is how the people are tortured, prisoners are tortured there like this. And if you just stay there, just, okay, why not we give a try? We give a try, you don't have to be in the barbed wire, but say, go in a, very small place and stay there for like few hours. See how suffocating it is. How suffocating. You're getting it? So, well, your body is very small. It's, why you feel suffocated? It's very small. Why you feel suffocated? Because you need space to move around. You're getting it? You need space to move. And for this vulture, it needs space to move around. Even in the zoo, for example, the tigers, lions, they're given big space. You're getting it? Because they need space to move around. If the space is smaller, they feel suffocated. You're getting it? Okay. So, what is the actual suffocation they feel? The mind feels the suffocation. You don't forget it. The mind feels the suffocation. You're getting it? Okay, now, how many of you are from this psychology? Shalmali, 1, 2, Surya, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is very important. This is very important, right? Okay, now let's say, now this, I'm sure you have this experience. Say you go to a place, go to your workplace, or you go there, and then all the people around, right? Somehow there's a little conflict with this person, with that person, this person, that person, so forth. You go there. Okay, what's the feeling? Okay, happy or unhappy? Hey, very unhappy. You're getting it? Very unhappy, and then you have to stay there for 8 hours. What's the feeling like? Very unhappy. When it is 5 o'clock, then what happens? Relief comes to you simply as soon as possible. Get away. Okay. Now, what happens is that from this, say the 20 people, your colleague, 20 people, then one person is replaced by your boss, replaced by your sister. You're happy, not happy? Okay, now say little happiness is there, but 19 are still, you have a problem. Right? Okay, then suddenly your father somehow becomes the boss. You're happy, not happy? Very happy. Your father will send you a place where everybody is your friend. Right? Okay, so tell me, what is really happening? When you're with, all these people, nobody is saying anything bad to you, but you're feeling unhappy. What do you mean by unhappiness? Your mind feels suffocated. Because you feel the prison. You feel the prison. Your mind you cannot freely talk to somebody. You cannot freely, right? Okay, may I have your water? Right? Can I have water? I can't even say this. You're getting it? I can't even say this. Right? And then say there's somebody, I see that somebody needs water. Do you need water? I cannot even say this. Right? Because there's a barrier, wall. And that wall makes the space very small for you. For example, if you have 20 colleagues, and the workspace is so big that, right, that you are working as one agent, one agency, and then one is in that village. You are not going along well. All the 20 people, they are not going well, and all are against you. But the work is such that one person is there in far away that village, and one person a village, and you are here in this village. This is better, or that everyone is in the same office, you see everybody next to you. Which is happier? First one. Why? Okay, I don't like these people, but still I don't have to see them. So where you see them closely, then why? The space is become smaller. Your space is smaller. The space small is known as prison. What is prison? Prison is that you are put in a walled place. You are confined in this. You cannot go freely. That's a prison. In fact, a prison is created, not physically, mentally. Right? So, as the prison space is bigger, your mind feels more relaxed. Relaxed means ease. Your mind feels the ease. You're getting it? Ease. Ease is happiness or what?
Yes.
Happiness. Happiness is nothing but the ease of your mind. Don't forget it. And whose version is that? Your version of happiness or others' version of happiness? Ease of mind. Everybody. You're getting it? So therefore, for happiness, what happiness is, there's no difference. Your version and others' version. Only when you speak what triggers happiness, then people can differ. For me, cheesecake triggers happiness. Others say no cheesecake, the triggers what? The blood pressure. So I have a high BP problem. So I don't want cheesecake. I want chocolate cake. Chocolate cake. All right. Okay. So what triggers? That will differ. Right? That will differ. But what exactly is happiness is the mental ease. You're getting it? This is very important. Now, the mental ease, the real mental ease comes to you, say, when does it come? Say, natural people are there, there's always conflict with natural people, all the 20 people with you, the moment you are in this environment, you feel congested, suffocated, you feel congested, right? A wall is created, right? Okay, I should be here, otherwise anybody can say anything bad against me, right? And then suffocation is there. Unease is created. And whereas certainly somehow, right? Your father becomes the boss, and your father tells all the 19 people, hey, behave well with my daughter, or with my son, or you'll be fired. Everybody from tomorrow they'll start to speak to you, smile at you, be helpful to you. You're happy or not happy? Very happy. Ease is happening now. Now you can freely say, Niraji, can I have your water? Right? Shubhagiji, do you want some water? Right? It becomes very easy. Ease. You're getting it? Okay. each with 100 people is greater ease, or each with 10 people is more? 100 or 10?
100.
With 90 people you have problem. 10 people, no, 20 people you are now go in good terms. With 80 people you have a problem. So the ease is more, or all the 100 people you have a good relationship. All because your mind feels easy with all these 100 people. It freely can move to the 100 people. You're getting it? Now, if your mind can freely move towards infinite beings, that is known as infinite ease. You're getting it? Infinite ease. You don't see anybody as creating uneasiness on you, right? But be it your near and dear ones, be it the enemies, be it the neutral people, everybody, your mind flows towards them. If that happens, that is known as the infinite happiness. In time, in 3 times. In space, right? With every individual. If you're being very kind, I'm very happy. If you're being very unkind towards me, still I'm very happy for that reason. If somehow you can think of some mechanism by which to see that your mind flows towards everyone unconditionally, if there's a mechanism by which my mind freely flows towards everyone with no restriction, that is known as the infinite ease, infinite happiness. Okay, what would be your next question?
How?
How what?
How this infinity ease can be achieved?
Okay, now what can I do, or how can I do to make my mind flow infinitely, to the infinite people, be it your enemies, be it the neutral people, or be it the near and dear ones. Near and dear ones is easy, your mind flows. But then my mind doesn't flow towards the neutral people, and particularly towards the enemies. So that's very unrealistic. Okay, it is not unrealistic. Only thing is that we have to ask, how can we make it happen? You're getting it? This will take us to the next, which is known as the practice of bodhicitta. This is so precious, so precious. Okay. And this practice, if I say that, oh, your mind, there's a mechanism by which you will love even your enemies. If I publicly say this, right, on the television, right, people say that he's crazy, right? It is for this reason that the Bodhisattva Shantideva said that this teaching is to be maintained confidential. Because ordinary people cannot digest this concept. They cannot digest it. While the ordinary people, they crave for that infinite happiness, they are not ready. They are not ready to follow the method by which to achieve this infinite happiness. Right? So therefore, this method is to be maintained confidential. This is what Bodhisattva Shantideva said. Okay. And this practice is so precious. So precious. Right? And in fact, I would say that if the psychologists, particularly the clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, if they learn this skill, particularly I would say of the 2 methods, the second one, the method of equalizing exchanges of others, but in this method, if you are able to very skillfully impart on the people who are going through depression, anxiety, so forth, you will be the greatest of the psychotherapists. You will be the greatest of the psychotherapists. Because the point is how to convey this. How to convey this? But the method is amazingly powerful, and with incredible rationality. Right? This is the method. The point is how you're going to convey this. That requires your skill. If you can convey this, the proper rationality is there. It's ready-made for you. Rationality is there, right? And if somebody really practices it, you can feel the effect. You can feel the effect that enemies, it is like say the mother is seeing a very naughty child. A mother is seeing a very naughty child, 5 years old, very naughty child who always breaks the glasses, right, with the small stone. Maybe some of the boys when they are younger. Anyone? No, Neeraj, you know?
Sometimes.
Okay, okay. The Rahul. Okay, so the same. If the child is very naughty, very young, right? Mother will become angry with the child or become defensive.
Angry.
Okay, so just imagine, create a situation where, say, the mother knows that the child can break any windows, right? And then again the neighbors come to the mother, complain, and then the neighbors are about to beat the child. What will the mother do? Mother will defend the child. You getting it? Mother will not, hey, beat more. Right? Yes, he's the one always creating problem on me. Right? Beat more. No, the mother will not say that. If it is the neighbor, very nasty neighbor, catching the boy, or not the girls will not do that, generally speaking. Right? The naughty boy, catch, and then the neighbor comes, the neighbor may say, beat more. But the mother will say, no. Right? Mother will defend the child. Right? How can you beat a child? How can you beat a child? He's just a child. Right? The mother will defend. And the mother may even say that if you really want to create a problem, you are not supposed to touch the child. Take the child to the court. Right? And let the court decide. Court will not decide. This is a small child. Right? So the point is that we will reach to a point where you see yourself as a mother and all these naughty, nasty people as your own children. This amount of feeling that will come to you. Right? Then instead of anger, instead of the reactions, right? Your reaction will be very different. How the mother would react to a very mischievous child when others come to attack the child. Okay, so this is extremely, extremely precious. So which is better? Where you see that the naughty child in the eyes of the neighbor, and naughty child in the eyes of the mother. Right? Which of the two would you prefer your feeling?
Eyes of the mother.
In the eyes of the mother or in the eyes of the... So you want to be like the neighbor's mind towards the naughty child, or you want to be towards the mother's mind towards the child? What do you... Mother's mind. With the mother's mind, at least your mind is not disturbed.
No.
With this neighbor's mind, it's very disturbed. Again, this naughty child. Right? Right? So therefore, look, common sense. Say, if you're able to build your mind towards the other sentient beings, like the mother seeing your naughty children, their mental agitation, aggression is not there. Not all mothers. 80% of mothers, they are, like this. But maybe exceptions are there. Right? Okay. So with this, the practice Bodhichitta, which is so precious. Till 4:30, right? Okay. So the Buddha in the Samdhi Nirmochana Sutra, this is a part of the third wheel. This is the part of the third wheel of the Buddha's teaching. Samdhi Nirmochana Sutra, the Buddha said that, this is very beautiful. The Buddha said that bodhisattvas should not learn so many things. If they learn one thing, they will attract all the good qualities in their palm. If they learn one thing, they don't learn many things. If they learn one thing, all the wisdoms, all the good things will come on their palm, in their palm. And what is that one thing? The Buddha rhetorically asked, what is that one thing? And the Buddha responded, great compassion. Great compassion. Right? So this great compassion, this is so precious. So somebody who admires the Buddha's teachings, somebody who is keen on the practice of the Buddha's teachings, we have to keep in mind that the ground, be it Theravada Buddhism or be it Mahayana Buddhism, the ground is compassion. Ground is compassion. Right? This is so beautiful practice. And compassion not only confined to your children, not only confined to your parents, not only confined to the human beings, to us all sentient beings, to us all. That should be the ground of the Buddha's teachings. Okay, this is so important. So with this, the Bodhisattva Shantideva. So in future, if you ever think of setting for your personal retreat with emphasis on bodhicitta, and I'm telling you, today, bodhicitta practice is what the Bodhisattva Shantideva said as the main stem of the Mahayana teachings, be it Sutrayana, Tantrayana, whatever. The main stem of the Mahayana teaching, any Mahayana teaching, should be the bodhicitta. This is what Bodhisattva Shantideva said. Yet, emphasis on the practice of bodhicitta is so less, unfortunately. Right? You go to different teachings, Google search, the YouTube, right? Say, just see where is the teaching on bodhicitta. It's so less. This is unfortunate. Now, no matter what other people are doing, this is not a business. So, I am my business, you are your business. So what we should be doing is to make sure that we don't miss the stem, the main stem of the Mahayana teaching, that is the bodhicitta. And I'm saying this, okay, from what we have learned thus far, we see, do you agree with me or not? There are 4 things which are so important. One is renunciation. Number 2 is bodhicitta. Number 3 is wisdom emptiness. Number 4 is shamatha. Okay, shamatha, you practice one thing, and the renunciation is like the ground for the bodhicitta. Without renunciation, bodhicitta is not possible. Right? So it's like the ground for the bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is one side, and the wisdom emptiness is one side. Wisdom emptiness supported by shamatha. Right? So these are 2 wings. Bodhicitta supported by renunciation, wisdom emptiness supported by shamatha. So these are the 2 wings of the Dharma practice for us. Now there's the great Tibetan teachers, highly greatly learned and experienced teachers. What they say is that bodhicitta on the one hand, wisdom on the other hand, wisdom emptiness on the other hand, bodhicitta, it does not take time for you to learn. To learn about bodhicitta is very fast. It's very quick. Right? You can learn about bodhicitta within a short span of time. But to experience bodhicitta, it will take time. To learn about emptiness will take time. To experience emptiness will not take time. This is the difference. Don't forget it. To learn about bodhicitta, if I'm to really sit with you just on bodhicitta, right? And if there is, they say, if I'm able to spend whatever time spent, we spent the last 3 days, more on the renunciation, the 4 seals, if that is the prerequisite already done, if people come with that prerequisite already done, then if somebody tells me that, okay, let's do the Bodhichitta retreat, teaching retreat, study retreat, then I'm saying this within 1 week, complete Bodhicitta teaching can be finished. Within 1 week. Finished, right? And you will learn within 1 week, you will just get a complete picture of Bodhicitta. But to experience bodhicitta, it will take years and years and years. You're getting it? 1. Wisdom of emptiness. In 1 week, impossible to complete the teaching. Wisdom emptiness. Right? If you don't believe, you ask the Damdul Master's course participants. Right? It will take years and years and years and years. Once you get a complete picture of the study of the wisdom of emptiness, to experience emptiness is very quick. This is what is said by the great Tibetan learned masters. Learned plus scholars plus masters. Okay, so this is the difference. So with this in mind, this bodhicitta is so precious, and through practice, only through practice, right? Of course, to practice, we should be convinced. To be convinced, what should we do? To be convinced, we have to study. Meditation, for meditation we have to be convinced. To be convinced, you have to study. You are getting it? Okay. So, for this matter, there is what is known as the 3 levels of wisdom. Right? There's so many kinds of classifications of wisdom. Right? Okay, 3 levels of wisdom. Wisdom derived through learning, wisdom derived through reflection, and wisdom derived through meditation. 3. Wisdom derived through learning, wisdom derived through reflection, and a wisdom derived through meditation. 3 levels of the wisdom. Okay, this is so important. Okay, let's say, so finally they say, oh, we need these 3. First you have to follow the wisdom derived through learning, then through this, right? Don't make it very rigid. Always try to be very where the rationality works. I'm saying this, where the rationality works, just try to reflect rationally. Right? Okay, find what I want. I want infinite happiness. For the infinite happiness, what I've learned is that through infinite, say through unconditional love towards others, through bodhicitta practice. But for bodhicitta practice, I have to practice bodhicitta so that I can feel the infinite ease, infinite happiness. But how can I know that with the bodhicitta practice, this infinite happiness come to me? Let's say, first I have to practice this, but I'm not convinced. You're getting it? To practice means you have to diligently do it. Diligently do it, not just one day. One day is fun, is for fun. But for, so weeks, months, years, that requires a tremendous commitment. For that commitment, unless you're convinced, you are not ready to do that. You agree with me? So, to really practice it diligently and consistently, one should be convinced. You're getting it? Okay. To be convinced, 2 + 2 = 4. To be convinced, that's easy. You don't have to study as much. But with the complicated matters, to be convinced, you have to study deeply. You're getting it? Okay. For that matter, say the practice means, what actually helps you is the practice. So this practice, the ground for the practice is that you should be convinced. Conviction must be gained. And conviction will come to you only through studies. Okay. So the 3 levels of the wisdom, this is so important. Number 1 is, what is the basic one? From the basic you go up. The basic one is wisdom derived through learning. Wisdom of the learning, wisdom derived through learning. Right? Wisdom derived through learning, in other words, wisdom derived through learning is borrowed knowledge. This is not your knowledge. This is borrowed knowledge. Okay, how many of you know the Albert Einstein's popular equation, famous equation? What is that? E = mc squared. This is the equation. I know this. All of us know this. Okay. How many of you know that this is true? This equation is, we can derive it, and this is a correct equation. How many of you know that? Okay. I know the equation, but if someone says, are you sure that you know this? No, I don't know. I don't know how to derive it. So this equation I simply imitated from Albert Einstein. That is known as a borrowed knowledge. It's not your knowledge. Right? So borrowed knowledge, you learn, but you're not convinced. That is known as the borrowed knowledge or the wisdom derived through learning. Wisdom derived through learning. Oh, what is next? Wisdom derived through reflection. Right? Okay. You see? Okay. When I was, I think, 6 years old, when I was 5 years old or 6 years old, in the school, my mathematics teacher was very strict. There's one lady teacher, very strict, and she's so good at pinching. She's so good at that, right? She's so good at that. So she was the main mathematics teacher, and there was an assistant teacher who just finished class 10 and was sent with her as assistant. And that assistant teacher was very gentle, very kind, and all the children, they bully her. And the main teacher is too strict, everybody just freezes in front of her. One day when we went to the class, the main teacher was missing. All the children, they were so happy. They asked the assistant teacher, where's the teacher, where's the teacher? She said that she's on leave. Then all the children, they started to scream. Right? In few minutes, the main teacher came. Right? So this junior teacher or the assistant teacher, she was actually thinking of punishing the children, for they are bullying her. Right? So there she's left. So they will show their true nature. When the teacher comes, then the teacher was so angry, she started to pinch everyone. Right? Okay, this was my mathematics teacher when I was age 5 to 6. Okay, so she taught us the multiplication table. Right? She said that, okay, say all boys and girls, tomorrow, so you take this multiplication table of 3 and you memorize. Right? They just age. And they say nowadays the parents, they take up, what is your homework, right? The children. In those days, what? Our foster home, 20, 30 children together. And who does the homework? Who does the who checks whether you do the homework, right? And then the next day, okay, all boys and girls, I hope you have memorized the table, multiplication table of the 3. And everybody, very stiff, freeze, right? And then she asks Dorji, sitting, Tashi, right? They ask questions. And then said, Dorji, I have to stand up. I stood up and she said, Dorji recited the multiplication table of 3. I could not recite. So she said, okay, what is 3 into 1? That's easy. What is the answer? 3. That's easy. 3 into 2, right? No clue. So my hands become busy. When I was just 6 years old. No, 5 or 6 years old. My hands were busy. Nobody taught me. Right? Busy. And in the back, 3 was a 3. 3 2s are 4, 6. Correct. Right? 3 3s are, I have no clue. 7, 8, 9. 9. Correct. Okay, sit down. Right? Okay. So now, this knowledge, I got the correct answer. But then, if somebody asks me, how do you know that 3 into 3 equals 9? I had no clue. I just did it mechanically. Right? I had no clue. That knowledge, I know that this is answer. But how this answer comes, I have no clue. What it means, I have no clue. So that knowledge is a borrowed knowledge. This knowledge is known as the wisdom derived through learning. Today, if you ask me what is 3 into 3, I'll say it's 9. And if you ask me if this, do you know what it means? I say yes. What does it mean? Say, if I'm to distribute 3 apples, say the 3 apples, say 3 apples each to 3 people, then I have to bring 9 apples. Right? 3 2, 3, 3. So 3 apples into 3 people, 3, 3, 6, 3, 9. So that's meaning of 3 into 3 equals 9. Now I know this. Now this is no more a borrowed knowledge. This is a knowledge derived through reflection. Reflection. This is my knowledge now. You getting it? My knowledge. Okay. This is number 2. Now this morning, when we were doing the mathematical calculation, while you know the mathematics, but when I said it very fast, you cannot do it. Right? You cannot do it. So there the problem is that your mind is not fast. Although you know the answer, and that you are convinced with the answer, yet you cannot do it fast. So there, in order to build the fastness, you need the wisdom derived through meditation. You getting it? Wisdom derived through meditation. So these are the three levels of the wisdom required. Okay. So now, for that matter, this bodhicitta, unless we practice this, right? After knowing this, if we don't practice it, we will never feel that ease. We will never feel that, okay, infinite happiness, so forth. These are real high level. We will not feel the very profound happiness otherwise. You practice it. Initially it's quite challenging, right? Initially it can be quite challenging, but if you continue practicing this, then over time, the moment it starts seeping into your mind stream, then you start feeling the experience, right? That so pleasant feeling which we never experienced before, right? So with this tension, depression, nuru, they'll all disappear. You getting it? This is so precious practice. Okay. So this teaching on bodhicitta, both the methods were originally taught by the Buddha. Both methods were originally taught by the Buddha. What are the 2 methods? Both meaning 2. 2 methods. The first one is 7-fold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta. 7-fold FOLD. 7-fold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta. The second one is, the first one, 7-fold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta. A 7-fold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta. Okay, number 2, the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. The method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. The method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. Okay, so both were taught by the Buddha Shakyamuni himself, but then in terms of the inheritance, in terms of the lineage, say the first method, 7-fold cause-effect method, who inherited this lineage? The first one was the Maitreya. Maitreya was the inheritor of the first method, the method of the 7-fold cause-effect method. Then from Maitreya was passed down to Arya Asanga. And from Arya Asanga to Acharya Vasubandhu. And then down the line there were so many teachers. Then eventually to the Lama Selimpa, the great Bodhisattva, from Indonesia, Lama Selimpa, right? Okay, in between there were many teachers. Then in 11th century, it was passed down to Lama Selimpa. From Lama Selimpa, it was passed down to the Lama Adishatipangara Shrikana. In Tibet, we call him Dorji. Adishatipangara Shrikana. Okay. Buddha Shakyamuni, Arya Maitreya, Arya Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu, and then Lama Selimpa, Adishatipangara Shrikana, and this is how we got it till now, right? Okay, then Tibet, from Tibet and all these teachers down. One. Then the other method, what's the other method?
Method of equalizing.
The method of equalizing the exchanges of others. So this method was again taught by the Buddha Shakyamuni, inherited by Aramanjushri. Inherited by Aramanjushri, passed down to Aranyagārjuna, and from there, and then down to many teachers in between, and then down to Bodhisattva Shantideva, and then again down to Lama Selingpa, and Adisha Depangari Shirigana. So the Lama Selingpa and Adisha Depangari Shirigana, these two become the point. These two great teachers. They become the points of confluence of the two lineages. So today we have both the lineages being practiced by, say, the one individual person. Right? Okay, so this is in terms of the lineage. Okay, now we will do the second method first. Okay, then if you get time, we will do the first one also. Right? Okay. The second method is something which we can apply any way you like. Say, even for the somebody who doesn't believe in reincarnation, who doesn't believe in rebirth like this, still we can apply this for clinically or your friends or to anyone. You can apply this. This is extremely a powerful practice. Okay, so this has 9 steps. Okay, all these steps must be on our fingertips. Right? All these steps must be on our fingertips. The 7-fold cause effect method has 7 steps plus 1 preliminary, total 8. And then this has 9 steps. All these must be on our fingertips. When you do the meditation, when you do the practice, you must have these on the fingertips. Without looking at the book, you have to do it mentally. Okay. And the 9 methods. First we will enumerate what these 9 methods are, and then we will explain each one of them. Okay. The first one is equalizing self and others. Number 2, reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself. Number 3, reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Number 3, reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Number 4, the practice of taking the suffering of others. The practice of taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. Taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. Taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. And I know that. Okay, what is that? Which number we finished? 4. Okay, number 5, the practice of giving you happiness. With emphasis on loving kindness. The practice of giving you happiness. Practice of giving you happiness with emphasis on loving kindness. The practice of giving you happiness with emphasis on loving kindness. Okay, number 6, the actual exchange of self and others. Number 7, special recollection of the kindness of others. Special recollection of the kindness of others. Special recollection of the kindness of others. Number 8, altruism. Number 8, altruism. Number 9, bodhicitta. Okay, these are the 9 steps that we need to have on our fingertips, right? Okay, so what we do is that tomorrow morning, we make sure that all these 9 steps on our fingertips, that we make sure that we all, so we'll go from me, we'll take turn to say the 9 steps, right? No, they all take turn to say what these 9 steps are. Okay, ready for that? Okay, how many of you say yes? Okay, all of us, right? Good. Okay, this is what we're going to do tomorrow morning. Make sure that, if possible, say even during the group discussions, you try to enumerate what these are, right? So that it will be more imprinted and realistic. Be realistic. You're getting it? So this lady who said that, oh no, I'm fed up with the samsara now, I'll not come back. Right? Okay, the person has not been realistic. The person did not know that this samsara, the pain, it belongs to the 3rd category of impermanence. That it will continue endlessly until you put a very systematic mechanism to curb it, to stop it. Right? Otherwise it will continue endlessly. This she did not know. Okay, now our job is finally to curb, to stop this, the pain. For that matter, right, the 2 hands, external and internal, one of these 2 should be stopped. Otherwise the sound will invariably keep erupting. Okay, external factors. External factors say to what extent it is feasible that external factors can be brought to 0. Huh? Huh? A little bit, but not all. We are thinking of making the external factors 0 or internal factors 0, so that the sound of the misery should become 0, right? Okay, so the pain, for example, tremendous love and affection towards the children, towards your parents, towards your husband, towards your wife, and build love, this love, and there's a corresponding pain there, so that this pain will become 0, while the love and affection is not compromised, right? So this pain is because of 2 factors, external and internal. 2 factors are there. So external, how can we think of how feasible is that to make the external factors 0? Then we should be very realistic, right? Don't just say that, no, we have to tackle the internal. Don't just say like this, why external factor we cannot make it 0? Why? Right? Why? This is so good. In terms of number, it's a massive number. Infinite external factors are there, right? And and even the external factors, some are conducive, some are non-conducive. Even the conducive factors are also non-conducive, right? For example, if you're by yourself, you'll say, I'm lonely. If you're with other people, you say that, I have no privacy, right? This is reality. So the external factors, what we seen as conducive factors, they're also non-conducive factors. So conducive, non-conducive, both are non-conducive for us. So from this we see that thinking of tackling the external factors, pure external factors, and getting to the external factors, this is totally unrealistic. You getting it? Unrealistic.
Is aging and illness...
Okay, first let's finish this. Then these questions will come, right? Okay. So this, we should be very realistic. We should be very realistic. So this, the Bodhisattva Shantideva, he put it so beautifully. What he said is that if you want to walk around this place, barefooted, and then the thorns and the pebbles will break your 2 soles. And you ask, oh no, cover the land with the leather so that I can walk peacefully, right? where will you get enough leather to cover the entire earth? Instead, if you cover the 2 tiny feet with the 2 tiny leather, right, you walk, that suffices covering the entire earth with the leather. So covering the two tiny feet is tackling the internal factors, and think of covering the entire earth is like tackling external factors. You're getting it? This is the reality. Having understood this, a quick exercise. Okay, the quick exercise, sit upright properly. Okay. So this is exercise, mathematics exercise, right? Okay, mathematics exercise. So what we do is that we do the exercise and don't worry, even if your mathematics is very poor, don't worry, it's very simple mathematics, right? Plus and minus, and that two number less than 6. It's simple mathematics. If you're ready, give me the answer only when I ask you. Only when I ask you what's the answer, then you give an answer. Otherwise, do the calculation mentally. Okay, ready? 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 minus 2 plus 2 plus 1. What's the answer?
14.
Wow, it's amazing. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, it's the same calculation. I'll not complicate it any further. Let's do it again. Ready? 2 plus 2, 3 plus, sorry, let's begin from, let's again. 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 3. What's the answer? Why not? 11. No. No, tell me why. The first time you gave a very amazing answer. Second time you didn't get the answer. I didn't make the mathematics complicated.
Processing time was...
Speed. Our minds are slow.
We didn't have the processor is slow. We didn't have enough processing time. The mind couldn't process.
When you don't have enough processing time, when
you were really fast.
Okay, when I was really fast. Okay. So the tendency is that we will say the answer is that you are saying very fast. We don't say that my mathematical calculation is very slow. We don't say this. Both are involved. I say it fast, and your mathematical calculation is also very slow. Of the two, you will jump to the external. Then you said it fast. You're getting it? This is our tendency. So who is wise? The person who looks for the blamed external factors, and the person who blames the internal factor. Who's wiser? Why?
He can correct.
The purpose for blaming is to correct it, rectify that. And external factors to rectify that completely is beyond the possibility. Whereas to correct the internal factor is very possible. You're getting it? So whereas while we crave to eradicate all the suffering, but we are so addicted to looking for the blaming the external factors. You're getting it? Blaming the external factors. And whereas by blaming the external factors, if your suffering can come to 0, do it. Right? By blaming external factors, if your suffering comes to 0, do it. But it never happens. By blaming external factors, our suffering never comes to an end. Because external factors, innumerable number, it never comes to an end. Then you are not looking for the internal factors. The internal factors are always there. You are supporting the internal factors. So the sound of the clap is always there. So the wise thing to do is, if all contaminated things are of suffering nature, all contaminated things are suffering nature, and you think of the suffering is so enormous that we learn already. Then the question is, when will it ever come to an end? What's the answer? When will such a painful, the acute pain, when will that come to an end? What's the answer? Only if we realistically resort to a mechanism a very systematic mechanism, we can actually get rid of the suffering. What is that mechanism? To tackle the external factors or to tackle the internal factors? To tackle the internal factors. No matter what the internal factor is, but external factor is beyond. We cannot tackle the external factors fully. You getting it? We cannot tackle the external factors fully. Thinking of tackling external factors and thinking of getting rid of suffering to zero, that is just illusion. If there's a way out, only way out is to get rid of the internal factors. What's your next question?
How do I get rid of the internal factor?
Okay. So next question is, what are the internal factors and how to get rid of these internal factors? You getting it? What are the internal factors and how to get rid of the internal factors? Okay. So for that, okay. For that, let's say that okay. In your life, did you come across anybody who was hallucinating? Lots. Neither. You've seen Lord. So now you've seen Lord. Shalmali, you've seen Lord. Others? You've seen, not seen? Seen? Okay. Say, can you give me one of the characteristics? One of the characteristics of the hallucination?
They're imagining things that are not there.
Okay. Imagining or they're seeing?
They're seeing, sorry.
Okay, imagining is slightly different. They're seeing something which is not really there. Right? Okay. Say the hallucination, dreaming, they're very much the same. So imagine that in your dream, like hallucination, imagine that in your dream, you dream of, say, the ghost chasing you. Anyway, that's very strange. I learned that there are people who told me that they never dreamt of ghosts chasing them. Well, how many of you have dreamt of ghosts chasing you? Raise hands, including myself. Those who never dreamt of ghosts chasing you, lucky ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but those who never had any nightmare in a dream. Okay, we all had nightmare. Okay, let's say that we have a nightmare. Okay, say those who do not have the ghost chasing you in your dream. Say, what kind of nightmare did you have?
Somebody else chasing, not a ghost.
Yeah.
Not a ghost, somebody else chasing you. Okay, anybody who did not have any dream in your life, dream of somebody chasing you, whether ghost or human being or tiger or whatever, somebody chasing you. Just raise hands. Okay, now 2. So, 2 of you, did you have any nightmare in your dream?
Nightmares were there, but not anybody chasing.
Okay, nightmare like
Just
what?
like falling down in a...
Yeah.
Like falling down. Okay, say either falling down,
Or somebody,
gagging you. Okay, somebody gagging you,
falling into void.
drowning, falling down, or chasing. Right? Okay, let's say let's say falling down, right?
And continuously just falling and not able
Okay. Let's say that somebody's chasing you with a knife, right? What do you do when somebody's chasing? What do you do? You run, right? If you don't run, it's very scary. You run, and oftentimes you fall, right? And once you fall, it's so difficult to get up.
Yeah.
In the dream, yes?
Yes.
Okay, let's say this is a situation. And then you fall and so difficult to get up. Meanwhile, the other person is equally running after you. And then the other person grabs at you and Right? Okay, then what happens? Then what happens?
Wake up.
No. Now, okay, now I'm done. Now I'm done. I'm finished. Now I'm finished, right? So when you say I'm finished, and that before the person acted, right? Your mother wakes you up. Hey, your mother wakes you up. What is your feeling?
Relief.
Tremendous. Tremendous relief, right? Tremendous relief comes. This is very important. Hey, this is very important example. It's very important. Tremendous relief comes to you. Okay, tell me. Is it the same person who went through the nightmare in the dream and who got the relief outside the dream? Is it the same person or two different people? Same person. Why did you have so much? Why did you have so much fear in the dream? Because you felt the person chasing you, dream person chasing you, as a real person chasing you. And why did you have so much of relief when you wake up?
Because you realized it was not a
You realize that the dream person chasing you was not real person chasing you. It was a dream person chasing you. Okay, don't forget that. Now, in the dream, what you saw as the dream person chasing you, as the real person chasing you, is that ignorance or that is wisdom? Ignorance. So with this ignorance, the result is fear. And seeing the dream person as chasing you, or that's just a dream person chasing me, not real person chasing me, is that wisdom or ignorance? Wisdom. With this wisdom comes when? In the dream or outside the dream? Outside the dream. Only when you wake up, you have this wisdom. This wisdom, the result is fear dissolves. So the result of the wisdom is the fear dissolves. So peace comes to you. The result of the ignorance is the fear arises. You getting it? Okay. So the ignorance is when you are in the dream. The wisdom is when you wake up from the dream. It is for this reason that the Buddha is referred to as the fully awakened one. Fully awakened one. You getting it? Okay. So just as the dream person chasing you was dream, not real. What do you mean by not real? What do you mean by not real? The dream person chasing you was not real. What do you mean by that?
Imputed by the mind.
You didn't have substance.
It does not have substance.
Imputed by mind.
It is imputed by mind. It's not really there. It's imputed by mind. Right? Very good. Okay. Now, just as you are released from the fear of the nightmare in the dream because of the waking up, likewise, we have to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. We have to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. What is your next question?
How do you?
To wake up from the sleep of it.
Okay, what is this sleep of ignorance? And how to wake up? You're getting it? Don't always go for the easy one. What's the next question? How? Right? Okay. What is that sleep of ignorance? And how to wake up from that? You're getting it? What is that sleep of ignorance? Okay. Say, just as the dream is coming from your mind, imputed by your mind, or coming from your mind, everything else that exists in this universe, they are also coming from your mind. You getting it? Just as the dream is coming from your mind, everything else in this world, in this universe, they also come from our mind. Yet, we don't see them as coming from our mind, we see them as so real. You getting it? That is ignorance. Right? So, dream, there are two dreams. Conventional dream and the unconventional dream. From the conventional dream, we have been waking up every day. Every day we wake up from the conventional dream. But from the unconventional dream, we never woke up from that. We never woke up from that unconventional dream. In fact, at the moment, we are in this unconventional dream. If you don't believe, okay. Yesterday, 2 days ago,
When I ask you to look at the other person, you started smiling. You getting it? This is because you see that person as objectively real, or you see the person as coming from your mind. How do you see that? Objectively real. So the dream is objectively real or subjectively real? The dream. The dream is subjectively real, but in the dream you see it as objectively real. That is ignorance. Likewise, okay, look around. The wind and the curtains, how the curtains are being moved by the wind. Look around. How do we see them? Do we see them as the subjective real or as objective real? How do we see them? As objective real. That is known as ignorance. This is ignorance. This is ignorance. So the whole question came from what? From the second seal. What is the second seal? All contaminated things are suffering nature. So then the question arises, how to get out of this suffering nature? How to get out of this problem, the pain? Then we said that this pain is because of the external factor and the internal factors too. Right? You have to get into one of these two factors. External factor, not possible. Internal factor, what we discovered is the ignorance. Ignorance inside, ignorance within us, seeing things as real. That is the internal factor which is responsible for meeting with the external factor and giving rise to the sound of miseries, ignorance. You're getting it? That ignorance is known as self-grasping ignorance. That ignorance is known as self-grasping ignorance, which sees things as real or objectively real. Which sees things as objectively real.
Shila, if you could also explain this by some other example, not dream. For example, in this place to Shakyamuni, it says a star, visual aberration, flame of lamp.
Okay. So for the time being, we'll continue and then bring this later. Right? This is a very good point. Okay. So first, let us finish with the 4 seals. Okay. So what we come to realize is that we have to get rid of the internal factors. And from what we have learned with the example of the dream, what we learned is that what is that internal factor? Ignorance. Which ignorance? Self-grasping ignorance. Self-grasping ignorance is within us or is outside there? Within us. This is known as the internal factor. That ignorance is responsible. You getting it? Okay. Once we identify that, then the next question is how to get rid of this. Okay. Ignorance, self-grasping ignorance. If it is the ignorance in general, how to get rid of the ignorance?
Study.
Wisdom.
By introducing the wisdom. By introducing the wisdom. You're getting it? Okay. And the wisdom, there are so many kinds of wisdom. So many kinds of wisdom are there. Right? Okay, so many kinds of wisdom are there. For example, if I say that, okay, I come here to the Vajradhana center, I'm a little scared. How will you help me? I'm a little scared. You sense that I'm a little tense and a little scared. Okay, then let's say Shalmali says, Shiva, you seem so tense. Don't worry, there's no tiger. There's no tiger, right? So, okay, there's no tiger. Is this true or not? True. That's true. Is that knowledge or ignorance? Knowledge, this is wisdom. But this wisdom does not help me to remove my fear. Still I'm tense and fearful, right? Okay, then the Sonal comes and tells me, what happened? The Shamini, did she tell you that there's no tiger? Yes. I said, why are you still tense? There's no elephant. There's no elephant. Still I'm tense. Okay, so both of them cannot help me to remove my fear. So how will you help me then?
Ask you what are you afraid of? I'll ask you what are you afraid of?
Yes, don't just bring any wisdom. Simply because some wisdom comes, right? Say for example, I have tuberculosis, then you bring paracetamol, this medicine. Paracetamol, any medicine will not have any problem. So, what suffering that you have, accordingly you have to introduce the wisdom. What ignorance that you have, accordingly you have to introduce that particular wisdom, right? Then only if you ask me, the elder one, the elders, they are more experienced. So Elaine ji then asked me, Geshe, what's your problem, right? Then I say that I'm scared of the dengue, right? Dengue means mosquitoes, right? Then Indrajit says that no problem, there's a no mosquito-free zone. Right? There's no mosquito-free zone. Okay, now I feel relieved, right? So although no mosquitoes, no elephant, no tiger, they're all knowledge, they're all correct information. But the information that helps me is the only specific information. Likewise, out of the millions of wisdom, the wisdom which really helps us is a very specific wisdom that should be directly in opposition with the particular ignorance. What is that ignorance? Self-grasping ignorance. What is that self-grasping ignorance? Ignorance which says that everything exists objectively.
You're getting it? This is ignorance. So, to curb this ignorance, what wisdom should be introduced? The wisdom to know that
It is not objectively real.
the wisdom to know that nothing exists objectively. That wisdom should be introduced. You're getting it? So finally, if somebody tells you, okay, all contaminated things are suffering nature, this is what the Buddha indicated in the second seal. How to get rid of this suffering? It's so painful. Think of the the pains that we go through. How to get rid of this? Introduce the wisdom. You're getting it? With all the chain of reasoning which we went through, finally the answer came to which answer? Introduce the wisdom. What wisdom? The third seal. What's the third seal? Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Everything is empty of objective existence. Everything is empty of objective selfhood. You're getting it? This is the wisdom that we have to introduce. So this is how we can connect all the four seals, the four seals, the first seal with the second seal with the third with the fourth. You're getting it? The links, not just to understand the four seals individually, but the links. We have to know the links. You're getting it? Okay, so the third one says that if you really want to get into suffering, it is by cultivating this wisdom to know the reality of the third seal. That is, everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Which means that everything is empty of objective existence. Everything exists subjectively. You're getting it? Okay. What's your next question? What is your next question?
How do they exist at least?
How do we know that things are empty of objective existence? You're getting it? How do we know that things are empty of objective existence? This is a very important question. For this, okay, how do we know that things are empty of objective existence? And this will take us to emptiness. Okay, we'll stop here. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Svatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Svatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Svatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Svaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, maybe one or two questions before we start. If you have any questions.
Krishna, so you explained emptiness with help of the concept of dream. Like, so in any other form, if we could, if you could explain the same concept of emptiness.
Yes. So basically, the emptiness. First, let's go through emptiness. Once we come to almost to finish the emptiness, then we will do the different examples. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Illness, old age, and death are external or internal?
Okay, so basically, let's say illnesses because of the body, and body we're going to leave it. Body we're going to leave it. So that is external. That is external. So the external internal is very relative, related to the, say, when you speak about me, my body, and this food, because this eating this food, then I had the body in the illness, so I blame the external, but the food, my body is internal, mind. So mind versus outside, or the, say, mind versus the non-mind, then the body becomes the non-mind. So the internal, at that point you go into much deeper. So let's say that the illness, because I ate this food, therefore I became ill. Right? And then whereas it's because of this body. Sometimes this is very rare. Some people would complain about the body. Because of this body that I feel difficult. Some people, only few. Whereas otherwise, in most cases, we all only be outside your body, outside in you. Yeah. Likewise, illness, and then the aging, and the same. And some people may blame that, oh, if the medical system is much better, then we can live at least like 200 years. Right? We blame the today's medical system not being so developed. Okay.
In the noble, in the 4 C's, can you explain a little bit about what contaminated means?
Okay, this is a good point. Contaminated means the what makes defiled, what contaminates. Water is contaminated. The water is contaminated by the, let's say, the chemicals. Our mind, the pure and clear light mind, is contaminated by the afflictions. It's the stains, defilements, and the worst of the water is very clean. The mind is very clean, but why it becomes very aggressive and say this sad? It goes into fluctuation. While if you look at the true nature of the mind will never go into this fluctuation, but it just go into the fluctuation because of this self-grasping, there is self-centered attitude. With the fluctuation, you don't see the purity. The purity, when it settles, very calm, placid, then you see that it's very pure.
No, exactly. So what things?
So self-grasping ignorance, okay. Self-grasping ignorance,
Yes.
then this is the stain,
This is the contamination.
this is contamination, and that gives rise to the further contaminations, inappropriate intention,
Correct.
afflictions, contaminant karmas. They are all the contaminations. And then the contaminations, then speaking in a very strict sense, right? Then from the point of view of your goal of achieving infinite happiness, Buddhahood, then even the cognitive obscuration. But seeking to achieve nirvana, personal liberation, there the cognitive obscuration unrelated, right? It's very subtle that is not really counted.
In the morning you had mentioned about a kind of impermanent phenomena whose continuum never comes to an end, and you gave the example of the mind.
Yes.
So the mind whose nature is luminosity and bliss, why is it impermanent then? What is still changing in that?
Okay. So say the mind. So let us not think about luminosity and so forth, and let us think about the mind in general. Okay, today I'm happy, yesterday I was not too happy, right? So that agent, which we call as mind. So again, physically, the food, place, everything is so good, and somebody suddenly gives me a bad news, and I feel so disturbed. That is mental disturbance, it's not physical. So that mind, which feels disturbed, that mind, today also I have the mind, tomorrow also I have this mind, and this mind continues endlessly. So from that point of view, this is lasting forever, one. But meanwhile, say for example, just as, say, the earth, the solar system, or the universe, according to physics, they mention about the Big Bang Theory. So it lasts, from their calculation point of view, say at least this span of the time of the evolution of the universe, they say it's 15 billion years, 15 billion. So 15 billion from the, say, day before 15 billion years, from that point till today, this universe existed. But there's a constant change happening. Even today, the solar system, even the small solar system, that is also changing. Changing meaning the planets are constantly rotating around the sun, and the sun and the whole system is rotating as a part of the big wing of the Milky Way galaxy, right? So these are changes happening within. Likewise, the mind also changes. For example, yesterday, 3 days ago, they were, okay, now I arrived in Damdul. This is my mind. Today I will not say, now I arrived. Now it has been 3 days. Right? So thinking changes every day. Thinking just every point, it changes. So while yesterday also there was this mind, 2 days ago there was the mind, today also the mind. So that exists forever. But while it exists, within that there is momentariness.
Like Ram was asking, contaminated things and compounded things, we are talking about all phenomena and self and everything.
Okay, the first one says all composite things are impermanent, or all compounded things are impermanent. That includes only the composite phenomena, not the non-composite phenomena, the first part. The second part, all contaminated things are suffering nature. Within the compounded, then there are the contaminated and uncontaminated. So for the second, only the contaminated parts included, others are excluded.
I still don't get some nuance. All contaminated things are
Suffering nature.
Okay. So if it's just the mind that is contaminated by affliction, they should just say, no, it's only one thing. So why all contaminated things?
Okay, let's say For example, this mic, flower, everything that I come across, the subject, my mind, the self, and the object, the five sensory objects, plus my mental objects, that my contaminated mind comes across, they are all contaminated.
So the way it has been told by the Buddha is both from the Theravada and from the Mahayana, both.
So
That's
basically,
why
the
because if it's from the Mahayana, it would be just mind.
not true.
Not true. Contamination to the mind is done by the
No.
upkeep.
So you ask me what is contamination?
Yeah, right.
So you do not ask me what is all contaminated things. Contaminated things, if you ask me what is contamination, then I will say self-grasping, there is self-centered attitude
That's
in the
the
offshoots.
contaminant, right? Correct.
Right? But if you ask me what is the total contaminated things, then I will say what is the contaminated subject and objects with which the contaminated mind interacts.
Is mixture.
Not mixture, all.
So that's
So
which
when the
one?
mind is interacting with all the objects,
Let us not say mind, contaminated mind. Contaminated mind interacts with whatever object. For example, my mind cannot get access to, the Buddhahood
correct.
at the moment, right? So what I see is what I experience, what I see, everything is contaminated, right? Okay, so object and subject both.
So only uncontaminated thing is Buddha's consciousness, isn't it?
Okay, so the most likelihood, the better way of putting the question may be, what constitutes uncontaminated? What uncontaminated things are there,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? If I say compounded phenomena, do you mean compounded phenomena the flower? I'll say yes. Then I'll not add anything. Then you still wonder whether my pot is contaminated or the compounded. Then you ask me, what about your body? I say yes. Now you never ask me, what do you mean by compounded? If I ask me what is compounded, then I will explain very pervasive. Likewise, what is uncontaminated? If you say like this, say uncontaminated is the mind or the objects which are not influenced by the self-grasping ignorance. And very precisely, it is the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, which is not tainted by self-grasping ignorance. Non-dual, direct experience of emptiness. So that is one which is uncontaminated, and that is the best example, uncontaminated.
So everything is uncontaminated until it is influenced by a contaminated mind.
Okay. Let's say that my bag, that's contaminated, right? My bag is contaminated. Then say my house, Delhi. If you say like this, they're all contaminated. We don't have to say when we interact with my mind. So the things which belong to me, they come into being because of my karmic,
Yes.
contaminated karmas. The fact. Yubenji? Question?
Yeah, so it says all contaminated things are of the nature of suffering.
Yes.
So should I take it as a warning that all contaminated things which you come across are all suffering? I mean, which means the things, it's particularly saying the word thing.
Yes.
If you can explain the meaning over here of the thing. Now when I say thing, like for example, the water which is contaminated, if I come and, if I drink that contaminated water, it's definitely going to help my health. Spoil my health. So the thing over here if I take it as a water, contaminated water, replace thing by water, contaminated water drinking, it will spoil my health. So the things which are already contaminated, so it could be internal factor also and external factor as well, because if I say this person is contaminated is ill nature or is trying to do some harm to you, that is also a contamination. I mean, affliction, or that person has so much of hatred to you towards whatever situation may just harm you. So is it like a kind of warning that is giving?
Exactly, yes. The one who is given.
When you
if you don't want suffering, don't tackle the contaminated things. Yes.
In the real world, be aware of all these contaminated things which are within you also and without you also.
Without. That's true. This is warning. Yes. Answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay. More questions? Okay. So now let us begin with the Bodhichitta. Okay. Bodhichitta. Bodhichitta. We speak about the two kinds, conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, conventional and ultimate. And say the real bodhicitta is the conventional bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta is just a namesake, bodhicitta namesake. Ultimate bodhicitta is the bodhicitta namesake. Otherwise, the real bodhicitta. Conventional bodhicitta and bodhicitta, these two are synonymous. Conventional bodhicitta and bodhicitta, these two are synonymous, but say with namesake, we speak about conventional bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta. Okay. So if you could recall, anyone who could recall the finally, what's the purpose of a life? From what we learned, till
to
one?
achieve infinite happiness.
Help all sentient beings.
To help all sentient beings to attain nirvana, Sureji?
To get infinite happiness.
To get infinite happiness, Siddhanla?
Both Nirvana
and Buddhahood. Technically, Nirvana Buddhahood, in a loose sense, in a vernacular sense, how would you put it?
Free of suffering and infinite.
And Nirvana, free of suffering, free of fears or suffering, and Buddhahood?
Infinite happiness.
Infinite happiness. This is the job of Elaine to ask us, right? Okay, so one is to get rid of fears and miseries. This is one goal. Another goal is to achieve infinite happiness. So, to get rid of fears and miseries, that is technically known as nirvana, and infinite happiness is technically known as Buddhahood. Okay, so there, finally, tell me, if you speak about, the final goal is to achieve nirvana and Buddhahood, then people, people who have never learned about Buddhahood, they only heard about, this is Buddhism, right? They will say, no, this is not my goal, this is your goal, this is this is your goal, this is for us, this is. But if I say, if the final goal is to get rid of all the fears and to have maximum happiness, then whose goal is that? If I ask this, then everybody will say this is my goal. So actually these were same, right? Nirvana is a technical term used for getting rid of all the fears, and the Buddhahood is a technical term used for getting infinite happiness. Okay, so now this is what is so important for us to keep in mind. Say, if somebody asks you, what is the final agenda of your life, meaning of your life, or the agenda of your life, it seems to be very, beyond comprehension, which is very not really complicated, but we'll say that there are so many things. Okay, but to make it simple, we can say that be kind to yourself. Finally, what's the agenda of your life? Be kind to myself, one. Number two, be wisely kind to yourself. Two things, right? within these two things, we see that everything what sensible people consider as meaningful life, they are included here. What do you mean by kind to yourself? Be kind to yourself. Oftentimes, they say, if I ask, they say, what do you like to do in your life? Or they find if somebody tells you that I give you something, what do you like? And some people say that I want money. And some people say I want promotion. Some people say that I want good health, I want good family, I want this, that, and so forth. And they, say there are multiple the goals, multiple aspirations, right? And multiple aspirations. And then if I ask you further, why do you want money? Why do you want promotion? Why do you want this, that, and so forth? Then you will say that with the money I'll be happy, with the promotion I'll be happy, right? Okay. And some people say that this, and then from this, then I say that finally, all your aspiration is to be kind to yourself. Kind to yourself means who in your life has been kind to you? Parents, right? And they say, okay, there are some very rare cases where the children were neglected during their childhood. Okay, very rare cases. Generally speaking, I personally would say that the parents, generally speaking, but there could be rare exceptions where rare exceptions are there, still we can practice bodhicitta. Of the two methods, the second method is amazingly powerful. You're getting it? Amazingly powerful. That is applicable to everyone, whether you feel your parents are very kind to you or your parents have not been kind to you. Still, the Bodhichitta compassion practice works so well up until the second one. Okay, so why I'm saying this is that they say, what's aspiration? What is your aspiration in your life? And some people start by saying that, oh, I like to help others, I like to do these things. Okay, there's nothing wrong in it. There's nothing wrong in it, but I said that be kind to yourself. I do not say be kind to others. You getting it? I did not say that be kind to others. I said that be kind to yourself. This, we should be, it is actually included here. Included here, this is extremely wise way of understanding it. Oftentimes, people start with, oh, we have to help others, right? This is what you've learned from childhood. Not you feel from deep inside. And some they feel. It's very rare. Some they feel, but generally speaking, if they speak about, oh, we should help others, the seva, right? So these are what you've learned from your elders, from school, so forth. So you are saying this. Deep inside, 99% of the people, they say, how we're born with. We are born with this self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. These two are there. And to have the self-centered attitude, right? So we should not feel ashamed of. Because this is there. Right? It is there. Everybody takes for granted. It is there. Right? It is there. Now our job is how much we can get rid of that. Because of this, it disturbs us. It creates problems on us. So how to get rid of this? Right? There are ways and means. Okay. So the point is, the first one is be kind to yourself. Meaning that who was kind to yourself, kind to you when you were in a desperate need of help and so forth? Parents, your mother for example. So in what way your mother was kind, particularly when you were very young? How your mother was kind? From there you will learn what do you mean by, as to what it means by be kind to oneself. In what the parents were kind to you when you were young? Tell me. Feeding, protecting, by teaching, giving affection, love, right? Okay, so the point is, but how does the child know that the child is getting all these things? How does the child know that the child is getting love and affection from the parents? Child, a very young one, age 3, 4, 5, how do they know that?
The feeling of satisfaction and safety is there.
Okay, feeling is the feeling of the satisfaction, safety is there at the moment you are with the parents, right? Okay. One. Any other? Yes.
Needs are being how you bring. I mean, how the parents embrace the child with the touch,
affection.
Okay, embrace is one, right? The child is the okay. Embrace is one. Because for the children, for the young children, embrace. This is very important. And then
needs are being met. Whatever
needs. Child needs food, right? Child needs clothes, and then the child needs somebody to give attention. So the mother, the father, they're always there, right? So the child gets the benefits and the needs from that person. So the child loves. That is meaning of being kind. How they're kind to you. So the first point, be kind to yourself, means give yourself what you want and take away those things which you do not want. What you want is happiness. Give yourself the happiness. And what you don't want, suffering, get rid of suffering. This is the meaning of be kind to yourself. You're getting it? Be kind. Okay. So how we started is as well as very selfish thing. Right? Don't worry. Because still we have a few more days. Right, to go. Okay. It is as though like very selfish. It is not. Right? Some people, they just right away ask the question, okay, is the Buddha's teachings grounded compassion, but how we started is very selfish. Right? Don't worry. Right? Okay, Buddha's teaching is compassion, but the uniqueness of the Buddha's teaching is the skillfulness. This is the uniqueness of the Buddha's teaching, skillfulness. Finally, we should make things happen. Finally, we should make things happen. Finally, we should learn how to cherish others. Cherish others. If you see that, okay, cherish others, people will not do it. Right? So, the point is, finally, it should be very realistic. It should be very realistic. So, be kind to yourself means to give yourself the maximum happiness and to take away the miseries from you. These are 2 points. What's the second point? Be wisely kind to yourself. Which means that, okay, after about 10 or 20 years, maybe those in their 20s, right? And then after about 20 years, and then you might have challenges with your life, so much challenges. And then suddenly you remember, right, 20 years ago means 2038, right? 2038, those now in 20s, they will be in the 40s. In the 40s, right, some of them may go through difficulties, and suddenly they remember, right, 20 years ago when the Vajradhara was first conceived, there was somebody who came there as a teacher. He said that be kind to yourself, right? Okay, now I'm being very unhappy, so I should be kind to myself. So how to be kind to myself? What is the easiest way to be kind to myself? Go to pubs. Okay, I have so much worry, drink, and then the worry disappears. Okay, so this is unwisely being kind to yourself. This is not being wisely being kind to yourself. This is very unwise, right? So the second point is be wisely kind to yourself. This requires skillfulness, right? If you want happiness, maximum happiness, practice compassion. If you don't want suffering, get rid of self-grasping ignorance. If you want maximum happiness, get rid of self-centered attitude. You're getting it? Okay, what could be the next question? You don't ask how. What's the next question?
What are the ways
How to gain maximum happiness and get rid of suffering?
Say it again.
How to gain maximum happiness?
Okay, so to get rid of suffering, self-centered, self-grasping ignorance, how that is related, we already explained it, right? Already. So the second part is left. What's the second part?
What is self-centered?
What is self-centered attitude, and in what way that is related to not having the maximum happiness? In what way the self-centered attitude forbids us from having the maximum happiness?
Can I ask one?
Yes.
I don't know if it is directly related to this, but our idea of happiness and somebody else's idea of happiness can be very, very contradictory.
Can be contradictory, yes.
And so by fulfilling our needs and by being happy, we might
creating problems on others. Okay.
Sometimes it's not a question of our choice. So it's
Okay,
a social
so-
mandate.
Okay, so the best thing is first let us listen. First let us listen. Let us finish this course. Meaning, say, what is happiness? How the self-centered attitude is related to the not having happiness. How it forbids us from having infinite happiness. Let us listen to this first, right? And then after explaining all this thing, still questions are there, feel free to ask, right? Because many of these questions will be solved in the process, right? So this is known as wisely kind to yourself. Wisely meaning that all these answers will automatically come. The question that you might have, because people interpret happiness differently, how we interpret happiness, they interpret happiness is very different, so how can we say that our version of happiness is the correct version? All these questions will be solved. All these questions will be solved when we get this answer. Okay. Okay, let's say that okay, let me give a very simple example. So from what we have learned thus far, what if we were able to practice successfully, what is that thing which we might have emphasized so much on from what we learned thus far? Anyone?
Self-grasping.
No, self-grasping we already, everybody has. Now we no need for Bodhichitta Retreat. From Bodhichitta Retreat thus far, from what we learned from there, if there's one thing which you have to emphasize meaning that practice, right? From what we learned thus far. Okay, finally this is the thing that I have to practice from what we have learned thus far, right? So what is that thing? Focus on yourself. Surya? Wisdom of emptiness. Getting it? Okay. Wisdom of emptiness, what we have learned thus far, from saying all composite things the impermanent, all contaminated things are of suffering nature. And how to get rid of the suffering? By introducing the wisdom of emptiness. So this is what we have come to the point, right? So finally that's what we learned is how to get rid of all our fears. Fears, miseries, which are metaphorically understood with the analogy of the sun cloud. So for that, external, internal. So get rid of the internal factor, right? Internal factor, what we have learned is self-grasping. And how to get rid of this is wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so the wisdom of emptiness is the very precious thing that we have to emphatically practice. This is what we have learned thus far. One. Now, let's say the wisdom of emptiness is like the light. We said that to remove the darkness and ignorance, we have to introduce the light of the wisdom. It's like the light, right? So this light, say, if in Pune there's a beautiful garden. What is the most beautiful garden in Pune?
Sarasbag.
No,
Sarasbag.
Okay, never mind. I will take you to Delhi garden. Right? The Mughal garden in Delhi is very beautiful, although I've never been myself. Okay, so let's say that I take all of you to Mughal garden. Right? Mughal garden to enjoy the garden there. It so happened that we reached there at 12 a.m. midnight. And there's a sudden power cut. Can we enjoy the garden? No. Don't worry. I give you a torch, small torch, each one of you. A small torch. Torch is light. Right? Light is to dispel the darkness. You're getting it? Right? To dispel the darkness and to see things. So you all have a small torch with you. LED small torch. Right? Made in China. Yeah, small torch with you. You have it. Okay. Now can you enjoy the garden?
No.
Why not?
It's not right. Insufficient light.
Insufficient light. It right? Okay. So this torch, right? Okay. So this torch is good enough for you to enjoy just a flower, one flower. You're getting it? This torch is good enough to remove the darkness of one flower. So you came there not to enjoy one flower. You came there to enjoy the whole garden. So you're not enjoying the garden, right? For garden, if you want to enjoy the garden, what should you do? If the power cut is there, then they wait till next day, right? Next day, let the sun come. Then the sun is light. This torch is also light, but the sun illuminates every flower simultaneously. You're getting it? Every flower. That makes you enjoy the garden. So therefore the wisdom, very small wisdom, the wisdom just to focus on one flower, personal benefit. Wisdom of emptiness for personal benefit, for my liberation. It's just like a small torch, right? But you want to have the infinite happiness, not just a small happiness. You want infinite happiness. For that matter, this mind should be able to spread, right, infinitely to everyone. Okay, so this is extremely important. Where now say that why we are not experiencing this the infinite happiness. What's the reason why I'm not experiencing the infinite happiness? There are two reasons.
Self-centered attitude.
One is self-centered attitude. That is one which forbids us from achieving the infinite happiness. And
Light of wisdom is not.
arhats, they have the light of wisdom, but they don't have the infinite happiness. Anyone? Self-centered, already said. What's the second one?
Self-grasping.
Self-grasping. Arhats, they already eradicated self-grasping ignorance. Yes. Okay. Already say this again. Cognitive obscurations. What is cognitive obscurations? A subtle, inactive seeds of the afflictions, cognitive obscurations, self-grasping ignorance, all the inactive seeds. The very subtle smell, inactive seeds of these, they are the cognitive obscurations. There's cognitive obscuration and a self-centered attitude. These two stop us from achieving infinite happiness. You're getting it? Now, if we get rid of the cognitive obscuration, this subtle self-centered attitude will be gotten rid of by removing the cognitive obscuration, right? Okay, but say for example, what should we be doing? For example, if there's somebody who is screaming out of pain, and then you take the person, quickly take to the hospital, and the hospital doctor, what should the doctor be doing? The patient is screaming with pain. Okay, first let us check what is his heartbeat, let us check what is the MRI, fMRI, right? And then let us check his blood. Okay, send the blood sample to the lab. The result will come 2 days later. What will you do? Will you do like this? If you do like this, the person will die.
Give an immediate painkiller.
Immediate painkiller, right? This painkiller will not heal the problem, but the pain will be subsided. The patient will last longer. Then go for the blood test, X-ray, all these things. Just to give the immediate painkiller. Although the painkiller is not this fun solution, this is not remedied, and the person may be screaming because of because of some acute bacterial ulcer problem. There's a problem with the bacteria. This painkiller doesn't do anything to the bacteria. It simply subsides the pain. But that is necessary at that point. You're getting it? Likewise, cognitive obscuration. Cognitive obscuration is the one which forbids you from achieving infinite happiness. But what we can so evidently see is a self-centered attitude, right? To remove it, to think of removing this, mitigating this, to think of mitigating this is like giving the painkillers. This is very important. You're getting it? So,
what is the painkillers?
Painkiller is the practice of the bodhicitta which we're doing now. Right? Okay. So with this, then the question arises: what exactly is the cognitive obscuration? Whose job is that? Okay, right? Okay. So now the point is that okay, why do we have to work on the bodhicitta? Why not we do the directly go remove the cognitive obscuration, right? Okay. So it is like say this patient. Don't forget this example. And then number 2 is say somebody who like to say finally I want to become the Nobel laureate in physics, right? Well, no. For this you have to study BSc in physics. No, I don't want to be BSc. Very complicated. It's many years, right? BSc, then MSc, then PhD. It's very common. I want to directly be enrolled in the Nobel laureate, amongst the Nobel laureate candidates in physics. It's not possible. You have to go through all these processes, right? Likewise, to achieve the infinite happiness, we have to proceed through all these processes to practice unconditional love. And then the cognitive obscuration, these two are very closely related towards the end. You're getting it? That is very important. Now with this mind, first we need to learn what does it mean by happiness. What does it mean by happiness? You're getting it? What does it mean by happiness? And then let us see whether your interpretation of happiness and the interpretation of happiness of somebody else, these two are same or not. All these things will come together. You're getting it? Okay, let's see. Do you agree with me that happiness is what your mind experiences? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Good. Happiness is what your mind experiences. Even if you have the best of the food, best of the environment, best of the place, but your mind can be very unhappy, and we can say that I'm very unhappy, I don't feel happy, right? Whereas the situation may not, environment may not be so good, but your mind can be very happy, right? Say, you might meet with your brother or sister who you lost for the last many years, and suddenly you met in a place which there's a tremendous scarcity of the facilities. You met there. The moment next time you see this place, there's such an elation, joy coming in you. You're getting it? So that is a mental experience. Okay, so is that common to everybody? Yes, that is common to everybody. Mental happiness, right? Mental happiness. So generally speaking, say good food gives us happiness. Good environment gives us happiness. Okay, generally speaking, but the good food per se is not the happiness. A good environment per se is not the happiness, right? So these are the factors which give rise to trigger the happy feeling inside. That is the real meaning of the happiness. Okay, now this happiness, this happiness that we experience, this happiness, we see that, say okay, this is something which we have to explain this, and then we deeply reflect on this to see how true that is. Okay, let's say that say there is a vulture. This vulture, a very, what is the lifespan of vulture? Any idea?
18 to 20.
18 to 20 days.
Yes.
Oh, we have to qualify that, right? 18 to 20 years, which means the vulture is what age? Young, energetic. 5 years. Okay, let's say 5 years, young, energetic vultures. Say if there's the 5 years old, very young, energetic vulture, and put it in okay, this vulture, poor vulture, I'll give him a house. We give him a house, a cage. Right? Cage, the 1 meter by 1 meter cage. The vulture will feel happy or unhappy. Why?
Because its nature is to. Vultures like to roam free.
Fly. Freedom.
Go to pubs.
No. Say if this